Van Clan Disc Golf. My name is Stefan. I wanted to start this video off with a little bit of an intro, both about a little bit about me and about what this channel is going to be. Again, my name is Stefan. I'm 23 at the time of this recording. I live in the beautiful Southern Oregon coast, and I'm a recreational player. I've got one tournament under my belt, and I didn't do so hot in it either. I am not a pro player by any stretch of the mark, and I just wanted to create this channel just because I love the game. It's fun to talk about, and I want to be able to share my love for the game with anybody and everybody. Hey guys, welcome to Van Clan Disc Golf. My name is Stefan. Today we're at Ferry Park in North Bend, Oregon. Hole 1 here is about 170 feet. I'm going to go ahead and just take my envy, throw on a slight hyzer, and let it just coast to the basket. Didn't quite put enough on it, so I've got a little bit of a tester putt. So my throw went a little shorter than I was expecting, and so it's about 35-40 feet out. And a rule I always have when I play is play your game. For a lot of the pros, this is nothing. This is an easy tap in for them. For me, I am comfortable putting within 15 or 20 feet. Past that, it's not that pretty. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pitch up and take the par, because I know if I try and go for it, I'm probably going to end up bogeying. So the safe play for me is to just pitch up this little 30-footer and then just tap in the par. And that's the tap in. Hole 2 is a fun little hole. It's only about, I'd say, 150, 160 feet. But we've got this giant tree right in the middle. And so if you're a righty or a lefty, it's pretty much just a overstable hyzer shot. I'm going to be throwing my Malta. It is my most overstable mid-range I have. And I can just let it glide pretty flat down this left-hand gap and let it fade into the basket. Usually I can get a good birdie on this. I'm parked. That's beautiful. And I did park it. I'm like 10 feet away from the basket. I should be able to just get this right into the basket. Let's go. Early birdie is always good. Alright, hole 3 here at Ferry Park is about 220 or 230. It's straight, wide open. I'm going to take my Magician. I'm going to throw it pretty flat towards the left and just let it fade in. That's should get me pretty close. That got me a good skip. I think I'm about 35 or 40 out. That actually had a really big skip, a lot more than I was expecting. I'm only about 10 feet from the basket, so this is a bonus birdie for me. Every birdie is a bonus birdie in my book. Alright, hole 4 is a very technical shot. You guys can't see it right now, but it is about 130 feet back behind about 3 trees. So for left-handed throwers, you want something that flies really straight And for right-handed throwers, if you throw backhand, there is a little hyzer line, but it's really tiny. I'm gonna throw my Envy. I'm just gonna try and throw it with maybe a little bit of anhyzer or flat, and hopefully it can just glide right to the basket. Threw it a little wide, but I got very lucky. I only hit one branch. I think I'm about 15 or 20 feet from the basket. All right, I got about 12 to 15 feet out. I'm gonna go for it. I should be able to make it, and if not, it should be a tap and par. Let's go. All right, hole 5 is a tricky one for me. We've got a dog leg to the left, and it's probably about 230 to 240 out. I don't have a forehand. I cannot forehand to save my life. So what I do is I just kind of pitch up to the middle of the fairway around that mando tree, and then I'll pitch up to the basket and then hopefully get a good par. That's perfect. All right, this is the perfect spot for me because I've got just enough room on the left-hand side for me to hyzer out my Malta and just get right under the basket. I hit a tree branch, but it helped me out. It slowed the Malta down to where it didn't get a big old skip. I'm about 4 or 5 feet from the basket. Hole 6 is another dog leg left, so I've got the same issue I did with hole 5. This hole's just a little bit different because there's not necessarily a mando. It's just really hard to get through these guardian trees. So I have a page pierce sole, and I'm going to try and throw it on a lot of anhyzer to try and get it around those trees and get it as far left as possible. That's about best I've ever thrown that. I'm probably about 50 or 60 out, so it's just a pitch up for par. All right, I am about 50 out, so I'm just gonna take my Envy, get it pitched up under the basket, and then take my par. Hole 7 is where it starts to get longer. These are the 3 longest holes on the course here. Hole 7, you want to go straight and then fade to the right. It is back in the middle of those trees, about 240, 250 feet back. I've got my Magician. I'm going to throw it on a slight anhyzer shot so that it gets that nice S curve and fades at the end. Threw it up in the air. Threw it kind of nose up in the air. Not nearly as far as I wanted it, but I should be good. This is actually a pretty good spot for me. The basket is, I'd say, probably about 120 feet out. I've got a wide open shot on the left, so I'm just gonna take my Malta, throw it hyzer, and hopefully get it near the basket. and I released it early, so I'm about 45 out from the basket. So I'm about 40 feet out, and it's about a low ceiling, so even if I was comfortable running it at this range, it's too low for me to try and get that height. So I'm just gonna pitch up my NV and take my bogey because that's the safe play. Alright, iconic hole 8 here at the Ferry Park. It's iconic because the basket is in a tree stump and it is the longest hole in the course. It's about 350 feet. I'm going to be taking my lightweight MVP relay that PDGA gave me. I'm just going to try and throw it flat. It should flex through and hopefully get me just past that little tree there in the center. Threw it a little nose up so it went up and then just kind of dived down, but I am past that tree about 40 feet to the right. I should be able to just take my Malta and throw it pretty hard and get it to fade into the basket. Alright, so the basket is just left of this big tree about 50 or 60 feet. I've got wide open space on the left side, so I'm just going to take my Malta, throw it out on a hyzer, let it skip in. Should be able to par this. I let it go a little early, so I think we're about 15-20 feet from the basket. Let's shoot for par. So I got a lucky roll. When it landed, I didn't see it roll. I thought it just skipped and sat, but it rolled back to where I got like an 8-footer. So I got very lucky. Alright, hole 9. It's a pretty straight shot, about 230, 240. Usually on a hole like this, I would take either my Comet or my Soul and I'd throw it pretty flat to where I'd get some flex in it. But we've got this parking lot here, and though there's not that many cars, I don't want to risk getting anything broken or hit. So I'm going to take my Buzz that's pretty beat in. So I should be able to throw it pretty flat. It'll get a little bit of a flex in it, but it should be pretty straight and right in the basket, or right in the fairway. And I'm right on that hill. It'll be a little awkward, but I should be able to just take my Malta and pitch up. So I got a little bit of an awkward shot. Got the Buzz just right there behind me. It is right on the side of the hill, so I've got a little bit of an awkward footing. I'm just gonna take my Malta, throw it to the left, and hopefully it'll get right next to the basket. Got about a 10-footer. Should be pretty easy, but I missed shorter. Oh, and there's a couple branches in the way. That's fun. So happy with that. So happy with that. getting 2 under on this course is pretty good for me. I usually get about 1 over or 2 over. So getting 1 under, there's a couple of holes like hole 3 I've never birdied before, and birdied it today, so that's a huge accomplishment for me. Could have been 3 under had I not bogeyed that 1 hole, but that's the game of disc golf. Thank you guys for tuning in. My name's Stefan. Hope to see you again at Van Clan Disc Golf.